things recently, the last few years, there's been a lot of complaints about the superhero genre and how they're all the same and like whatever. I think this movie is a shining light of to like as to what can be done. Like this is a fantastic film that happens to star Batman. You know, the
Right.
filmmaking on this movie is incredible. Could you sort of talk about that aspect of it? That it's just a beautiful film.
Well, I think Matt really wanted a grounded film, and taking just look on how the film opens. You don't know whose point of view it is, and it's very mysterious, and it has this whole film noir aspect to it that comes out of the detective comics, and and he also was sort of picking up a moment in time where the characters are becoming who we know later on as the Penguin and Catwoman and Batman. So he was just interested in the nuances of it and also how a crime is solved and how Batman, hooks up with Gordon, and they're both trying to use each other and help each other. And I think and then there's this subterranean world, and then there's a world sort of underneath that too. So I think that's what he was interested in a way. So.
If I'm at the center of a film, it kind of ruins my opportunity to enjoy it in any way as an audience member. But because I had the 5 or 6 scenes in this, I could really experience the film as a fan of previous Batman films and just as a fan of film and cinema in general. And as John said, the first 5 minutes, I was just rattled. That opening shot and that perspective, and as John said, we don't know whose point of view we're looking at, but it's a very distinct point of view, and we hear the breath, and it's creepy as hell. And there's a voiceover, and we're introduced to Gotham, and it's an incredibly sick place. And I think the sickness that's in Gotham is represented in all facets of life, the criminality of the police department in it, the criminality of the political realm, and also just common thieves and murderers on the street. The shadows are everywhere. So I was just overwhelmed by how immersive a film this was, and it's dark. I mean, it's got weighty themes. What's it about? I don't know. It's not about one thing, but Matt was very concerned with just grounding it and making it all kind of recognizable. I mean, when you look at the world around us now, it's a pretty corrupt place and it's a pretty dark place. And the darkness is Gotham is so sick it doesn't even hide its darkness anymore. It's out in the open. And Batman has a lot to square up against if he's going to put a dent in that, But the immersiveness of the experience was astonishing for me,
I'm almost out of time, but I have to ask you. I think that one of the highlights of this film is Greig Fraser's cinematography.
Yeah,
It is
extraordinary.
breathtaking. Could you both talk a little bit about collaborating with him and maybe one of the shots that really just impressed you?
I mean, almost every shot was interesting, and I mean, just looking at the windows of my office, what
Yeah,
would be like the background, the loop that they had. It looked like it was real.
extraordinary.
You looked outside, and you would say, "This looks like real streets," and it really was incredibly done, and and very dark at the same time. So people would come in and out of the shadows. So you can pick that up pretty quickly, I think.
Totally, yeah. And sometimes you're not privy to the brilliance that's being expressed around you when you're in the scene. There are times like John's office, Carmine's office, that you can see how extraordinary the vista outside the window, the bridge, the city is going to look. And there are other times when you just don't know, and then when you see the film, you go, "Oh my God, what a painting!" And you just feel really glad to be in a frame that looks as cool, and is as rich and has the depth that Greig's work has on this film. I think the scene of Batman upside down walking towards my fella in the car is just extraordinary. The world turned on its head, the flames in the background, it's so powerful.
100%. I have to ask you though, Colin, real quick. The
Yeah,
the
man.
prosthetic job that Mike did
Yeah,
for you to bring this the character to life is so jaw-dropping. At
amazing.
any point, did you want to like leave set in costume and just sort of like walk around and be anonymous, or did COVID make
Yeah,
that
no.
impossible?
I'm fair. I feel like I'm fairly honest, man. If I had known at the start of my career, I would have done more independent films, and you just get left alone a bit. But Mike, you've probably talked to Mike through the years, have you? He's extraordinary. He's just brilliant. His imagination and his artistic ability, his training and all that kind of stuff on the job, but just his imagination and his drawings, his sketches are extraordinary. So to be the canvas for his brilliance to create this visage that is Oz was amazing. But in answer to your question, the first day we tried the whole thing out, we took it for a drive, a spin, metaphorically speaking, and we did it in Burbank. It took about 6 or 8 hours. There was a team of 10 or 15 people, and it was really fun, Steve. It was really fun. I went into Starbucks and I ordered myself a very un-Oz drink, you know, an oat milk latte with 2 stevia sweeteners. and not that Oz isn't a big drinker, but he does have Oz does have a sweet tooth. But and got a couple of stares, but only because it's such an imposing look. So I feel Mike, honest to God, Mike did so much of the work for me on this, so much of the heavy lifting, you know?
So just to be clear, you went into Starbucks in the full outfit.
Yeah, the full outfit and the accent and yeah. You know, oat milk latte and blah blah blah, you know.
That is amazing. Okay, I got to wrap. I'm just going to say again, I really sincere congrats.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Really great movie.
Thanks, Steve.